You did this film. Did you have a preconceived notion of who Tyson was?
Well, it was based on knowing him for 23 years, so I had a pretty good clue because we'd known each other and in a very intimate way. I don't mean sexual, but I mean intimate for 23 years. And yet, I have to say that there were several things that surprised me during the revelations that came out. Not just factual things, but the nature of the person. Because what you're seeing here is not just the information, it's the unconscious reveal. And the way it was set up, it allowed him to reveal himself and to let the unconscious out in a pretty bold fashion.
What surprised you most?
Most was his confession of fear, how much fear has played a role in his life, and how he's had to overcome fear all the time.
Was he afraid of boxing when he first started?
Absolutely. He was terrified of fights when he was a little kid. He described himself as a short, fat kid. And he didn't, till he whacked somebody after being intimidated, he didn't know his own strength. And then boxing was a whole different world, and he talks about literally wanting to run away and not fight just before his first fight. He has tremendous native intelligence, intuition, self-awareness. He is on many tracks at the same time, so there's not a clear rational line in his mind. There are voices going on. So it's not just that somebody else doesn't know what he's going to do next, he doesn't know what he's going to do next.
That makes him more dangerous.
I think that yeah, he's unpredictable, and if you're unpredictable, anything can happen by definition. And I would say that might be a little less true than it used to be, but it's still true.
Does he have remorse for anything, or does he ever feel sorry for things he's done?
I think, you know, he holds himself accountable throughout the movie. He's constantly saying, I have only myself to blame. This was my undoing, it was my fault. He actually takes on a great deal of responsibility. The only two people whom he speaks of with no remorse are Don King and Desiree Washington.
Did he really go through $350 million?
Yes. Well, I don't know whether he went through it or whether it was removed from him, but he had it at one time, and he certainly doesn't have anything remotely like it now. There are a lot of people, particularly women, who go in despising him, and they're in tears at the end. And I noticed this when I was editing. It was quite startling how many people with real hostility ended up being moved by him. In fact, Nan Talese, Gay Talese's wife, who's an editor at Doubleday, and an old friend of mine, said, when we were in New York at a screening at Sony, you know, Gay insisted I come tonight, and I said to him, I'm going to be in a bad mood for 3 days if you force me to see this movie. I do not want to see it. I'm not interested in him. I dislike him. And Gay insisted I come, and she said, now having seen it, I want to see it again right away.